Welcome to the first Zoom call-ins episode of 2025 on Reader Seeks Romance Channel's Romance Roundup, the #1 romance book recs talk show. I am Liz Donatelli.
And I'm Libby K, author of the sweet romance series Buckeye Falls and the upcoming When Sparks Fly.
Stopping by the Zoom room today is author Theresa Christine.
Wow, 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 wow!
Watch Romance Roundup on Reader Seeks Romance Channel and subscribe on YouTube. Listen to Romance Roundup on PodBean and all podcast apps. Follow us on Instagram at Libby K Author and at Reader Seeks Romance. Hello, Libby.
Hello, Liz.
And hello to Romance Roundup's official mascot, Lil Jimmy, the boy coal miner.
Hello, Libby and Liz. Let's talk about romance books.
All right. Well, it looks as if we have Theresa Christine in the Zoom room, so I'm going to let her in. Welcome, Theresa Christine. So glad you could join us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Libby. I've been watching your show for a long time. It's really cool to be here talking with you.
Oh, fun. I love it. Thank you so much.
Nice. Thank you. So now, do you still live in Germany?
Yes. So I was based in Los Angeles, and then kind of after a year or two of, the pandemic being really challenging, my husband and I then moved to North Carolina, and our kind of goal has been to be in Germany for a while. So we moved here at the in November of 2024.
What part of Germany are you in?
We're in northern Germany in Hamburg.
Oh, awesome. I studied German in college, and I studied abroad outside Munich a million years ago. I won't date myself and say how long ago it was, but yeah, my husband and I went back a couple years ago for our wedding anniversary. We're usually in the Bavaria area.
It's gorgeous there.
Oh, I'm so envious.
Can you say something in German, Libby? Well,
no, I cannot. That's why I didn't get a job doing anything with it. I could never do the accent. I sound exactly like myself, just tumbling through German words. My dream years ago, I wanted to be a translator. And then I remember meeting with my advisor, and they're like, yeah, you need to work on that accent. So they sent me over there, and I'm like, surely I'm going to pick up an accent. And I came back and I sounded exactly the same. So yeah, I don't know. It was not meant to be, but I love going, and I love everything about Germany. So the food, all of it, just, I miss it.
Nice. Theresa, do you speak the language? Are you able to have a conversation?
Yes, I actually studied German when I was in high school and middle school, and I just had an amazing teacher. So we learned through kinesthetic learning. So every word that we learned had emotion, and that actually really helps you remember stuff. So I think that I credit that with why I remember so much now, because for I think almost a decade I really wasn't speaking it. It's only been in the past few years that I started picking it back up again, but I'm able to get around. There's certainly situations where I need some help. I need a translator myself, but yeah, it's been definitely helpful.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Theresa, you are the author of The Half of It, a spicy small-town Ireland romance that's releasing on March 11th. And this is not your first romance novel. You have published other novels, correct?
So this is my first full-length novel.
Okay.
I do have a novella that I give to people who sign up for my newsletter, but this is the first full-length. It's my romance debut.
Oh,
congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. So could you tell us what The Half of It is about?
Sure. The Half of It is about this young woman. She's a guarded journalist who she takes a DNA test on a whim and unearths a half-sister in Ireland. So she goes on assignment to this small town. It's called Ballygra, and she's also there for her sibling's wedding. And while she's there, she also finds this unexpected romance with her newfound sibling's best friend, whose name is Aiden. And he has his own challenging past, but he dreams of bigger things beyond his small town pub that he's working at. And as Juniper kind of becomes more enmeshed in the family and as sparks are flying between her and Aiden, she kind of has to decide how much she's willing to risk her heart for this family and this love that she never expected or anticipated having.
When I read the description on Goodreads, I was hooked instantly and I was very intrigued. What made you go with the whole genetic testing thing as kind of one of the big plot points? Sorry, Liz, to steal all the questions.
No. I was just going to mention how I enjoy the DNA search, genealogy, DNA testing. I enjoy that as kind of a launching point for a novel. So that's a great question, Libby.
There's a lot of things that kind of came into play to inspire the novel, but that was one of the big ones. So my grandmother on my mom's side, my mom's mom, was raised in an Irish home in Chicago, and she passed on Irish traditions to my mom, who then passed them on to me. And when I got a little bit older, I understood that my grandmother was actually adopted. So I always thought, oh, I'm Irish. St. Patrick's Day would roll around and I'd be like, haha, I'm Irish. And then suddenly it was like, oh, well, I actually don't know if that's true or not. Maybe it is. A lot of people living in the United States have Irish ancestry, but I wasn't really sure. And so that sort of like uncertainty sparked the idea for something that involved a DNA test, and then combining that with like my love of travel as well, and a recent trip to Ireland actually shortly before I started the book. So it all kind of came together.
Have you tested yourself? Have you done a DNA test?
I haven't personally. My brother has done one, but my dad actually, he has made an entire website, like an ancestry website just for our family. And every individual person has their own entry. It's really, truly incredible. And it's actually from the start of me writing this book, he discovered more ancestry about my grandmother that he was able to put into this website that, our family has.
Very cool.
Yeah, I
I
love
love this because I've always been fascinated by it. And when I'm not obsessed with romance, I'm obsessed with like true crime. And I know that in the last like 5 years, there's been so many developments with like the DNA genealogy thing. So I love, as soon as I read the description, when Liz said you were going to be on the show, I'm like, yes, a different way to like kind of delve into this like genealogy obsession.
It's so interesting and fun. And it's something that's been a somewhat interesting challenge in talking about it is I don't want people to go in thinking like it's a taboo romance, like there's a romance between someone in her family. So I've had to be really careful about how I describe the book and, a little bit selective.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting you say that. I don't know. Have I mentioned this on the show and we've just edited it out? I'm trying to think, Libby. I've had an idea of, cousins meeting DNA, but they're distant cousins, maybe developing a romance inspired loosely by my own DNA testing. I connected to a lot of different people, and one of them is a cousin who I found very attractive. And I said, oh, wouldn't that be something, if he was like maybe a fifth cousin and we dated. Now I do have a husband, so that would be tricky.
Yeah.
But I figure, family first, right? So
My husband would have to understand.
Well, it's like in Iceland. It's an island and it has a small number of people. They actually have, I think, an app or a website that you can refer to make sure that whoever you're dating isn't someone you're related to.
Oh, no way. Oh, that's trippy.
I wonder if there could be not a taboo romance written about that. Well, I guess they test and they're like, oh, we're not related. And then they fall in love and then they find out they are related. So it's like, oh. So it's like, oh, it's not really intentionally taboo. It's just.
I think I saw that Dateline special once.
It's interesting because you could write, if you wanted to, another version of the story where it is a cousin romance, but that's down the road, maybe another pen name. I'm super excited. You did provide me with a copy of the half of it, so I'm excited to dig into it. I enjoy anything that's set somewhere outside of the US as of late. I've been enjoying getting around the world more. And I love the DNA, that whole the search and finding. I have found so many people that I'm related to. Interestingly enough, one of my father's cousins, we don't know who, donated sperm at some point in his life. So I've gotten a ton of people saying to me, we're trying to find our father. We've just found out from our mother that our father isn't our father, that a donor was used.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by that. Is this book one in a series where it'll be different DNA angles somehow connecting people? Of course, not that they're related. That's just my fantasy.
I know, you're just throwing it out there. We'll see if it sticks. Actually, this is a series of small town romances. I do love this idea of exploring other like DNA connections, but I'm actually in the middle of edits for the second book, which is a small town in the California desert. And the third book is going to be a small town in North Carolina.
Oh, I love it. Is the fourth going to be a small town in Germany?
Oh my goodness. I need to get on that Oktoberfest romance train, you know?
Yes. Oh, please.
Oh, that would
or
be
a German Christmas. I love the Christmas markets and all that. That would be really charming.
When we moved here, so again, moved here in November, that was like my personality, was going to the Christmas markets. They are just, they're great.
No, they're fabulous. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. But I love, so what part, like North Carolina mountains or North Carolina beaches?
It's going to be like the mountains.
Heck yes.
Yes.
Oh, I like that. So
Love that.
the tagline of the half of it says a spicy small town romance, which is interesting because there's not a whole lot of small town romances that claim to be spicy. So I was wondering, what is the degree of spice? Like, obviously it's open door, love making scenes. I couldn't even think what to say, of knocking boots, if you will. So I know that there's like open door bedroom scenes. How descriptive does it get in these small towns that you're writing?
These small towns are pretty descriptive. Like on a scale of 1 chili pepper to 5, I would rank it in the 4. There are multiple open door scenes and they are descriptive. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, okay.
But for me personally, I mean, I read all variety of from open door to closed door. I tend to prefer open door romances in the like 3 to 4 spice level range. So that's what I write.
Got it. Yeah. No
Giddy
complaint.
up. We're here for that.
Yeah.
Theresa, are there any tropes that you did write in this book or that you're looking forward to writing in the next one?
Yes. So with the half of it, there's a little bit of mistaken identity. There's a little bit of road trip action through the Irish countryside. I put a fun twist on only one bed. And yeah, I'm really excited for you to get to that particular scene. And of course, there's forced proximity as well, which is just such a fun one to play with.
Absolutely.
Got it.
And for those of you who are not watching, Liz's mouth hung open when Theresa said just one bed.
I just mentioned in an episode that just dropped from Romance Roundup, in the Psychology of Tropes episode, I mentioned about how I like when authors play with only one bed and have fun with it and make it different. I want to say only one, like hayloft. Am I right? Is it only one hayloft?
It's not only one hayloft. It's only one dresser.
Oh, all right.
It doesn't sound, it's intriguing. You're like, I don't know what that means. So.
Oh, I do.
Oh, whatever it is, I'm on board.
Wow. Only one dresser. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm thinking someone walks away with some splinters.
Yeah.
Okay. I dig that. do also think you should write something with only one hayloft, but
Perhaps in
That's
the
a
North
good one. I'm
Carolina
gonna hang
mountains.
on to that one in the back of my
Yeah.
mind.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounds messy, but now you mentioned mistaken identity, but we should make it known to everyone. Still, the mistaken identity is not, oh, you're my first cousin, or we're related. Okay, just want to make sure
100%
I want to make
confirmed
sure
that
people
is
know.
not it.
Okay, are you sure though? Okay, yeah, all right. So, Theresa, is there any romance novel that you read recently or that is on your TBR that you'd like to talk about?
I actually just finished reading this book. And it's funny because I sent the cover of this book to my cover illustrator and designer. And I said, I had sent her a couple of different things and was so inspired by these. And this was one of them. But Savor It by Tara DeWitt. I don't know
I
if you've read that.
literally just picked that up on sale at a bookstore this weekend. That is so funny. It's literally behind me. I'm going to read that next. What did you think?
The cover is gorgeous,
It
first of
is.
all.
It is.
I think it is like a gold standard for small town and for Grumpy Sunshine. It was done so, so well. I listened to the audiobook and it was just both of the narrators were wonderful. I love that I think the male main character is described as having like pirate vibes or something. He's like, he's got a mustache and it's just it was really good Grumpy Sunshine because I feel sometimes with Grumpy Sunshine or with Enemies to Lovers, it can kind of be an excuse for a male main character to be sort of a jerk to the female main character, and I hate
Yes.
that.
Yes. We often complain about that. It feels almost more like they're bullies, not love interests.
Yes. And her particular male main character, Fisher, I believe is the name, he's got reasons to be grumpy, and he's not a jerk to the female main character, Sage.
Nice.
So
Okay.
it's honestly like it's really, really well done, very refreshing. And I was emotional by the end of it because there is a very good reason for some of the conflict that they encounter in the third act. So it's incredible, Libby. I'm so excited for you to read it.
Yes. Well, and it's literally, I'm in the middle of editing, and I don't know about you. If I'm like in the middle of like last minute edits, I can't usually read something else at the same time. Like my brain's like, I don't think so. So when we were running errands, I bought it as a little after editing treat. So I'm really excited to hear that you like it because haven't heard as much about it as I expected, considering it's, in the vein of other stuff I enjoy reading. But honestly, the cover is why I picked it up. It had that like watercolor vibe with it. It was very nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
This is a new to me author, so I'm very excited to know that she's good.
Well, if you enjoy Savor It, we'll hear about it on Romance Roundup, Libby. And
Yes, I'll report back.
if you don't, everyone knows what that means.
Yeah.
Well, Theresa, it's been a pleasure meeting. I'm super excited to read the half of it.
Mhm.
Please keep in touch. This has been a delight. Thank you for taking time to join us.
Yes, thank you for having me. It was nice to talk with both of you.
It was great talking to you too. Thank you.
And that's our Zoom call-ins episode, part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Watch Romance Roundup on Reader Seeks Romance channel and subscribe on YouTube. Listen to Romance Roundup on PodBean and all podcast apps. Thanks for joining us, romance readers.
Happy reading, everyone.